Yo, what's going on everyone? How you guys doing today? Welcome back to another Sting 2 video. And in today's video, I'm gonna share with you guys what I think is the best Stasis Hunter build this season. Now that I finally unlocked all the seasonal mods, I can finally fully embrace Stasis, and so I bring you this. This build is gonna be all about those Stasis Crystals. Our Stasis Crystals are gonna be the main thing. We're gonna be making a lot of them, and they're also gonna be doing a lot of damage against like single targets, and also just ad clearing like crazy. All while making a bunch of stasis shards, having frost armor, and just being able to spam our grenade and our melee ability also like crazy. So let's not waste any time, let's get into it. And the main two things that you're gonna need for this build are gonna be the Scepter and also the brand new exotic hunter armor, the Mask of Fealty. As long as you have these two things, you're gonna be able to make the build work, so hopefully you guys enjoy it. And if you guys do enjoy the video, make sure you guys leave a like and a comment to make sure that this video gets out to more people. So let's get started, and first let's start with our exotic. Now for our exotic here, I decided to go with the Scepter, and this was after pretty much testing out every other like stasis weapon in the game. But I ended up really liking this one because essentially it just lets us freeze targets very easily. After we get a kill with this weapon, it does a stasis blast around, and if there's any enemies nearby, they're gonna be frozen. After that, all it takes is just one of our withering blades, and pretty much everything in the area just kind of explodes in stasis. So that's gonna work pretty well with our build, and just what we're trying to do here, and it's also a very accessible weapon. If you guys don't have the Scepter, you can go to a tower and pick it up from the kiosk for one exotic cipher essentially. Now this weapon does have a catalyst, but don't worry if you don't have it because it's not really required for the build. You won't really need it. You can use it if you have it, but it's not something you need for the build. Now for your other weapons, I'm gonna recommend a grenade launcher for your heavy, and then for your energy weapon, you can really go with whatever you want. I was using no hesitation for not really any particular reason. You can really just put whatever you want in this slot, and it'll be fine. Now for our subclass here, we are gonna be on the stasis, since this just works better with pure stasis. Now for our dodge, we're gonna be on the gambler's dodge, so we can get back our melee ability, since our melee ability is not only really important to the build, but also very important to our exotic. Basically, with our melee ability, our exotic just doesn't do anything. Now for our grenade, we are going to be on the glacier grenade, so we can make some more stasis crystals, and this essentially is just a big AoE explosion waiting to happen. The way that we usually use the grenade is that we throw it at a group of enemies, we throw our withering blade, and then you see everything explode. Pretty much the only things left are some of the bigger enemies if they get like pushed around, and they usually end up being like one shot. And this should also give you some stasis shards back, so you can get back your melee ability as well as your class ability. So our very first fragment we're going to have in this build is going to be Grim Harvest. Whenever we defeat a slowed or frozen target, we're going to get some stasis shards. And also when we have this on, picking up stasis shards is going to give us frost armor. And this is going to be like the main way that we're going to get frost armor. And we're always going to have frost armor with this. We're going to be making so many shards. Not only because the main way that we're killing things is actually by slowing and freezing them, but also because we have a couple more fragments and also some of the seasonal mods that will help us make even more stasis shards. So we're actually going to be making quite a lot of them, not only for ourselves, but even for our teammates. Now for the second aspect here, this one's not really going to be as impactful as the first one, so I would say that either Shadow Dive or Touch Winter are both really good. So for this second one, I definitely recommend that you try out both. I'm just gonna see which one you like better. It's not really gonna affect the rest of the build. The rest of the build will pretty much be the same, regardless of like which aspect you choose. So it'll be fine. Now let's move on to the fragments, and the first one we have is gonna be the Whisper of Conduction. Nearby stasis shards will track to your position. This pretty much just guarantees that we can pick up every single stasis shard, so we can keep our frost armor up, and also so we can keep getting that melee, and also our class ability energy, so we can spam it some more. After that, we're gonna have the Whisper of Chains. Whenever we have frost armor and defeat targets, they have a chance to create a stasis shard. This is just gonna be another way that we can make stasis shards, so we can be topped off on our abilities. The next fragment is gonna be the Whisper of Hunger. This is gonna increase the melee energy we get from the stasis shards, and this is very noticeable. Just picking up one shard almost gives us back our full melee. So whenever we make like 3 or 4 of them, we go from having no melee charges to having full melee charges. It is fantastic, especially with the amount of shards we're making. We're essentially always going to have melees as long as we can keep making stasis shards. The next fragment we have after that is going to be the Whisper of Shards. Whenever we shatter stasis crystals, our grenade starts recharging faster. And this is gonna be like the main way we're gonna be getting our grenade back. We do have a couple of other mods that also help our grenade back, but this is definitely gonna be the main way that we're gonna be getting it back. This fragment's pretty much always gonna be on, meaning that we're gonna be getting our grenade back faster, so we can spam it just as much as our melees. Okay, maybe not as much as our melees because we spam our melees a ridiculous amount, but pretty often, every couple of seconds. And lastly, we're gonna have the Whisper of Fissures, which is gonna increase the damage and size, or whenever you destroy a stasis crystal, or defeat a frozen target. This is essentially what lets us clear out entire rooms with crystals, and also just do a ton of damage to some of the bigger enemies. So this is definitely something that you want, especially considering all the crystals and all the freezing that we're gonna be doing. So all of that is just gonna be doing more damage. So now let's take a look at the mods that we're running on this build, and first we have the grenade launcher mods. They're really good, and they also affect your heavy weapon, so put them on. Now for the actual stasis ones, we're gonna have one with the frost. Whenever we have frost armor, our stasis weapon is gonna have faster reloads and also extra stability. We also have wind chill. Whenever we do some precision hits with our stasis weapons, we're gonna gain some frost armor. After that, we have crystalline converter. As we pick up some stasis shards, we gain stacks, and with our next power melee, it creates stasis crystals. Now this is something that we can charge up very quickly. It's essentially gonna give us another way of spawning crystals, and another thing that we can hit with our shurikens to make blow up and do a bunch of ad clear. We also have Armor of Aramis. This is just to add to our survivability. Whenever we hit critical health, it does a freezing blast around us that freezes everything around us. Now this right here is our MVP of the build. Hail the Storm. Shattering stasis crystals releases shards of ice that damage and slow targets. And since we're going to be shattering so many crystals, this is always going to be going off. And the boosted version increases the damage that we do from shattering frozen targets or stasis crystals. So we're going to be increasing our damage even more, so we're going to be able to kill things even faster with our stasis crystals. Surf Goals, another thing that's going to help us keep our abilities up. Whenever we pick up stasis shards, we're also going to gain class ability energy. And the final perk we have on the artifact is Brain Freeze. You essentially just kind of turn the frozen enemy into a dust field that slows everything around them. And it's going to be really good because you get more frozen targets that you can shatter, or you can use shatter the one frozen target and pretty much just kill everything around it. And the last thing that I want to mention is going to be the tonic, because you definitely want to turn on the refined tonic of stasis crystallization. This will boost both Hail the Storm and Crystalline Converter, meaning that you're going to be getting more stasis shards whenever you use our class ability, and it will also increase the damage you do whenever you shatter a crystal or a frozen target, just making the build even deadlier. Now for our exotic here, we're essentially just going to improve the Withering Blade. Whenever we hit things, we're going to create small stasis crystals and also get some energy back. And also, whenever we use our Withering Blades to shatter crystals or frozen targets, they're going to spread more Withering Blades around, which can break more crystals and also break more frozen targets. And the second part is the main thing that we're going to be doing. We're mostly just going to be using this to blow up stasis crystals from a distance. And then if something survives the initial explosion, it's going to get hit by the other Withering Blades, which is going to trigger more stasis explosions, and usually not much is going to be able to survive those. This helmet right here is pretty much like the perfect helmet to go with any build that relies on stasis crystals. Now let's take a look at the mods that are running on this build. First of all, here for the helmet, we have Harmonic Siphon for more orbs, Hands-on so we can get some more super energy with our Withering Blade, and lastly Special Ammo Finder, since we're going to be making a special weapon. Now for the gauntlets, we're going to have Impact Induction, Momentum Transfer, and Melee Kickstart. This is so we can use our Armor Charge to get some melee energy, and then these two will give us melee energy as well as grenade energy. Now for the chest piece, we're going to have Charge Up so we can get more Armor Charge, and then your typical resistances. You can pretty much change these depending on what you're doing. For our boots, we're going to have Recuperation, Stacks and Stacks, and then Innervation, so we can get our grenade back faster, so we can get more stacks of armor charge, and then lastly so we can heal with the source of power. And for the class item, we're going to have Reaper so we can make more orbs, Distribution so we can reduce all ability cooldowns, and lastly we have Special Finisher. This is going to be our failsafe in case we just can't find any ammo, we can make ammo ourselves. And this is pretty much what I like to run every time that we have a special weapon, as essentially our primary build weapon. And with that, that's actually going to be it for the build. The gameplay loop for this build is going to be pretty simple. You throw your grenade, or get a kill with your interceptor, freeze some things, and then you throw your withering blade and just watch everything explode. You can also just do 2 withering blades. Throw the first one, freeze things. Throw the second one, blow them up. The main goal of this build is to pretty much just get some stasis crystals out there, or a frozen target out there, that we can then hit with our withering blade and watch everything explode in stasis. Also, when playing with this build, don't forget to spam your grenade. You actually spamming the grenade is part of the build. You need to be spamming the grenade out there, and whenever you see some stasis crystals, make sure you shoot them with your gun, because that will kick in that faster like energy regen on the grenade, meaning that you're going to be able to spam even more grenades. But with that, that's going to be the end of the build, boys. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did, dislike if you didn't, subscribe to the channel in case you guys haven't already. Like always, there will be a dem link in the description in the comments. I'll make sure to pin it this time. I did forget a couple of them to pin them, and if I don't pin them, for some reason they just kind of disappear. But I have been better about pinning them this last couple of videos. So go down there and you should find a link so you can use this build and just try it out for yourself. I really been enjoying this one, especially with just how easy it is to freeze things and just kind of blow everything up with the stasis. So hopefully you guys end up enjoying it. Once again, thank you for stopping by today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care everyone, have a good rest of your day. Peace.